So overall, I think I believe that luxury players have not seen a dip, and they continue to shine. But I think there are some troubles coming on right now with the luxury market, even for the high-end players. The the demand from the really wealthy consumers that continues to grow, but the luxury market is also a market for where aspirational clients, so people aspire to buy these products. That part of market is becoming more tough because there's a lot more pressure on those group of people, and they're seeing less conversion. I think in ASEAN is shown some growth, and I think it will continue to hold that growth for the luxury market. But I say it's becoming quite harder as well for this second group of customers. The wealthy group of customers, they continue to have no problems in buying. They can afford the luxurious lifestyle, and they seem fine. Overall, I think in Asia Pacific, if you look at China, has always been high on the luxury market. The wealth level in China are still, the middle class are getting wealthier. Apart from the recent lockdowns in China, I think it was when that's over, I think they'll start seeing growth again. India is expected to have a significant growth as well in the luxury market. Looking at the ASEAN level, I believe the luxury market in ASEAN, as I said earlier, will tend to kind of hold around the 10 to 11%, I think, growth level. That's what's been predicted in the forecast around this market. In addition to that, I think we are looking a little bit more on, so when you say luxury goods, it also includes luxury hospitality, including the retail. And when there's pent-up demand on travel, and when the wealthy start traveling again, you will see a lot more. I think we will foresee a lot more use of luxury hotels, luxury food service, in conjunction with luxury retail as well. So I think that will start to go up again, especially when China again starts opening up again as well. But the current issues on China being locked down, the Ukraine war and stuff, those middle class who aspire to buy these products, aspirational clients, they're going to have some issues to that. And I think the trend is also moving more towards need for some ethical, social responsibility within the brand. Environmental, ESG plays a factor. The increasing number of consumers today are wanting to have ESG from what they buy, and even the luxury industry. And it's no longer just about the brand. People are getting a bit more conscious. So brands that don't start using this as a guide in their policies and their products and their marketing, I think will probably have a bit of an issue going forward, as more and more people are now bought on this ESGs and diversities and environmental problems. In addition to that, I think there are some brands and some luxury brands like Hermes, like Louis Vuitton, I don't think they will ever get hit because their strategy on having scarcity. So they don't make a lot of bags, right? They're on purpose. They make their bags and stuff at a very low quantity compared to demand. And because of that scarcity strategy, those prices don't have to go down. It's always a demand to buy those bags, especially like I mentioned, Hermes and Louis Vuitton. So that's the trend, I think, that we're seeing today. And luxury never used to be in e-commerce, but we're starting to see a bit on e-commerce as well, especially like the company in Singapore has an online store called Fifth Collection, who currently buys and resells these luxury products as well. So that's where I think the trend is going. So it remains strong, but in the different classes will have some issues. And I think ASEAN will hold, especially with China opening. And if you look at the countries per se, you will probably find Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand probably leading, and the other countries probably a bit less than compared to three countries. And I think Singapore is probably the hottest one in the region in ASEAN that will continue to see this luxury market grow. As I mentioned, I think Singapore will probably lead in the ASEAN region in the consumer trend. Consumers here are a bit more demanding in Singapore, the growing demand for that. But also the reason why Singapore will probably lead is because most ASEAN travelers, when they travel like China and stuff, they travel a lot to Singapore. So Singapore see a lot of the tourists, and once now they started opening again, the luxury clients in ASEAN from even Thailand or even China or India who travel to Singapore, kind of fulfills this theory of Singapore being the dominant in the ASEAN market. And I think there are also that the increasing income in Singapore and is also the increasing income, and the more people come into Singapore, it's fueling the market. For example, especially things like timepieces, so luxury watches in the last year and stuff seem to have picked up really well. So there's a company called Hourglass in Singapore, which has not really seen a big dip in their sales compared to most other retailers because they sell luxury watches. The demand for this kind of products are going up. As I mentioned, I think China will help a lot of Chinese customers who love spending on luxury fortune. And they also seem to be prepared to spend more when they travel to countries. So when they travel to Singapore, they want to be buying this luxury product. Apart from buying it in China, they prefer to buy it overseas. So when they travel to countries like Singapore or Malaysia and now Thailand, they tend to spend a bit more on these luxury items. They don't mind doing it. So I think that's where the differences are with the three markets, Singapore and then Malaysia and Thailand, compared to followed by Philippines and Indonesia after the three markets, I think. I think ASEAN market will probably be about the same in global market. I think the North America, Europe will probably dominate the hard luxury good market as people travel into these countries again. And also, it's been opened up for a while now. So I think Europe and North America and Europe will cut that, but probably just slightly higher. I don't think it'll be so much higher than ASEAN countries because I think the spending here for luxury goods seems to be a lot more. You find, for example, the Asians tending to spend a lot more on luxury items compared to the rest. And these are the aspirational clients who will see a slight dip, but those guys are the middle class getting richer in ASEAN, especially countries like now Vietnam, who are getting middle class getting slightly richer as they develop. I think it'll stay about the same, but North America and Europe probably be slightly higher, but I don't think there'll be much difference. Because especially if you take countries like China and India, I think the growth there is going to be higher than North America and Europe. I think the fast fashion is probably seen as an issue because companies like Zara and stuff, where it's quite cheap to buy and dispose. So luxury brands are not seen as much of that. But I think when it comes to marketing their products, including diversity, when they do the marketing, gone are the days where you only see, for example, white faces in advertising, which has been a huge issue. And if you look at Malaysia, if you look at Singapore, this still continues. So you don't see a lot of advertising with different races in these countries, which will start becoming an issue. And recently, we've seen over the last year and stuff, issues in advertising in China, which became an issue. I think one of them was this laundry detergent, for example. It's not luxury, but these kind of problems will start becoming more of an issue if they don't start getting including diversity the luxury brands. So there'll be a lot more demand on this from consumers. So environmental, social, corporate governance is one, but also diversity, equity, and inclusive, being inclusive with it will be very on top of the agenda for young consumers. Young consumers want to be not just today is no longer about just for being exclusive to the buyers, but having the brands, how they marketed, how they represented, the content delivery, the imagery. That's all going to be very important as well. If they don't do this, I think they will sooner or later get left behind. These kind of brands that don't adopt it. I think COVID has probably pushed the whole market in retail, including luxury retail, to rethink how we reach consumers. This technology that we're using today, blurring offline, online, getting more experiential, using AI, is all have been there pre-COVID, but no one really paid any attention to it. What COVID has done is kind of forced people to sit back and take notice of this kind of thing because how important it is. So I think even for luxury industry, having a seamless shopping experience of having like a unified commerce strategy, so they're seamless for the consumer to shop, how they can actually see online and then come by in store. Those it will also not just normal retail. I think luxury business will get impacted on this as well. You can also see luxury business going into the metaverse right now. You see how this is not luxury, but how Nike has made 185 million from their NFTs. Gucci has gone into the metaverse for their dresses and stuff. There's some companies who've gone into Roblox and stuff for some luxury items. So I think the things like the technology will reshape the world and luxury industry. I think luxury business must understand how and what role they play in to increase brand recognition and revenue in things like in the metaverse, for example. So I think that's what COVID has done. I think in addition to that, there's so much technology out there, things like AI and stuff, which brands have not really embarked on. So if you talk to a lot of retailers, even luxury brands, they will still talk about CRM, which is going out of date already, which a lot of people don't seem to understand that. So using an AI-based customer data platform to understand the consumer journey to get predictive analytics. These are all also key, not just in normal mass retail, but also in the luxury industry and how you understand the consumers. Luxury brands have always had the advantage of having personalized experience because people come to the store, you go one-to-one, but that's no longer enough anymore. So anticipating what a customer like, what they don't like, how you reach out to them. And these AI-based softwares are now becoming very common in the industry. And brands that don't adopt it, again, could be left behind very, very easily as well. And the other thing that's come out with COVID is the resale of luxury resale. So you see brands like Balenciaga, who's launched a resale program. Chanel, Hermes haven't, but is this something that might become a norm for luxury? We don't know yet, it's a bit early, but I think there's something in there in terms of resale luxury items. So if like Balenciaga has launched it, it's about a matter of time. Someone might wait back and see if it's working well, and you might see other luxury brands coming on board as well. So I think the concept of digital transformation it differs from person to person and company to company. Not everybody understand what digital transformation is. People tend to think digital transformation means going online or means investing in technology. But that's not digital transformation. That's just part of digital transformation. So digital transformation for the retail industry, including the luxury industry, how do you use this technology? How do you use the resources, the new technology and resources available and new skill sets available to get to new business models? And I think this is where there's a huge gap on understanding what digital transformation means. Saying that, what it should do is, again, having the unified commerce and personalized shopping experience is now already a must. It's not a luxury, it's not transformation. If you're not doing it now, you're already backdated. So I won't talk about the AI, the virtual reality and augmented reality. This is all, people already started using it already. So it's no longer new transformation. You must have it already. What I think we're going to be new is, for example, adoption of blockchain in luxury industry. So again, blockchain is another term that people don't really understand what it stands for. People associate blockchain with cryptocurrency, but they don't understand that cryptocurrency uses blockchain. It's one of the first adoption of blockchain. But blockchain, the way you use it in luxury industry is to counter the counterfeit problem. So there's a huge problem in counterfeit in luxury industry. And I think it's about, we are now going in billions in pirated market goods and fake goods of luxury industry already. So the adoption of blockchain technology in luxury solves this problem, because what blockchain does is, I mean, I won't go into blockchain explanation, but it's you can't tamper the data. So what the luxury industry can do is show from where the products are made and how it is sold, the whole journey. So you know the product is fake or it's a true product, because you can track everything. And the blockchain, one of the use cases is you can't tamper what data you have in the chain. So I believe that this will become a widely adopted thing within the luxury industry, because it is a huge benefit to the luxury industry. And then again, a lot of brands and resellers are starting to think on how they invest in, again, the technology that authenticates the brand. But it's still not there yet. It's a long way to go, but I think they have to do this quite quickly, because the technology is there and how we adopt it is key. The other thing on digital transformation is have the shoppers have embraced digital payments, making it easier to pay, easier to view and buy products. Are the brands adopting this as well? Are luxury brands adopting easier ways to make payment, other modes of digital payments? And one of the rises in payment technology over the last 2-3 years has been the buy now pay later payment options. Obviously, this affects the second group of people in luxury industry, which are aspirational customers. Being able to pay 3-4 months makes them buy even more. So that could be a huge boost to the industry. While the first group of customers don't really care about how much they pay, this huge second group will make a difference when they adopt things like buy now pay later. But do luxury brands want to do that? Do they feel that it impairs their brand image? We're not sure yet. So I think that's a bit early and for the luxury brands as well, for them to think about. I think number one, it's a lack of distribution channel. So I think for brands, this is a big challenge to overcome. See, the luxury products, they're not produced in bulk. So they very often get out of stock because they don't make mass production. And if you look at some of these countries that I mentioned, like Vietnam or even Malaysia or Thailand, the lack of distribution channels in these countries could be a problem. So how do you look at effective and continuous access to effective distribution channels of goods? I think will play a part. Linked to that is the supply chain. So I think that the recent 2 years in the pandemic showed that there's a huge problem in how we are limited in our globalized supply chain for luxury goods and other retailers as well. I think the route to market, it forced many players to rethink how are they going to get their products to the market in time. Major disruption caused by this factory closure, the huge increase in raw material prices. Are they going to put the cost back to the consumer? These are the kind of, I think, some of the problems they're going to face. The mindset of consumers in ASEAN, because we're talking about ASEAN, which are still considered developing countries, right? So there are not many individuals in the second level here buying them because they might now, especially with things getting more expensive, this middle class who are the aspirational customers in the luxury market might tend to reconsider their purchases. So that could be a challenge, and how they're going to reach these consumers to buy again and get count back to maybe they do offer the buy now pay later to these consumers to help. I think these are some of the main issues, and also the fake one we talked about, the piracy goods. Adopting the technologies, and I think supply chain and mindset of these consumers and how to get them to start purchasing again, probably some of the challenges I think that would face the luxury goods industry.